In this video, we're going to take a look at the Area Loft option available to us inside of Autodesk Inventor. So here I have the Area Loft IPT, and I'll begin by just doing a normal traditional loft with this. So I'll grab that from my Create panel up here, and I'll choose both my profiles. You can see that's very much a straight transition loft. Even if I add a rail in here for this third sketch, or as a center line in here, you can see that can change drastically how that appears. However, what I really know about this is different cross sections as it goes down through here have to be certain areas. I want to be able to control that instead of having to create a bunch of additional work planes or additional sketch profiles that has to loft through in order to maintain that. So here I'll go to my last option in the loft command called Area Loft. Once Area Loft has been chosen, you do have to make sure that you have the two profiles you want to blend between, but also that center line sketch. So there I had 3 sketches in order to work with this. Now it doesn't have to be in the center, it can be across the top like I had there, but some people like to put that in the exact center of each profile on the centroids. Totally up to you. But my next step here is to come in and add placed sections. So if I go up here and choose the click to add on placed sections, I can basically choose any point along here. Now, there are some special highlights you'll get. So when you get to about the midpoint of your profiles, you might see a green dot appear. And usually you see that on the linear type segments. You don't necessarily see that on curvatures like this. But I'll go ahead and select here. And I get this box. Let me just move it off to the right. That's currently telling me that this section can be driven by me. The bottom option here is it's being driven by something else. So I want to drive this sizing. The starting profile and the end profile are actually being driven. So if I were to try to change the end or the start, they would show up as a driven. Next, I have section position. So where along this curvature am I seeing this particular point being placed? Well, currently it's about 56.2450%. Now, if I want a ruled value instead, I can choose that and see how much actual linear movement has taken place along that curve. So here I'll go back to percentage. I want this to be exactly 50%. And for section size, I can define that by area or by perimeter. So here I'd like it to bulge out a little bit more. So instead of 184 millimeters squared, I'd like to have that closer to 200 millimeters squared. I'll choose OK, and that actually will bulge out a little bit right there. I'll turn this so we can see it a little better as I do these. I'm going to add another point up here. And this time I'll do a ruled value of about 30 millimeters from the start along this curvature. And here I'm going to make that a 180. So again, it's going to get a little bit larger up there as well. And then down here, the third point, 80% of the distance. And this one I want to control. I want to come, maybe back down into control a little bit more. So here I'll do 210 and choose OK to that. Now, if for some reason I wanted to change the start or the end, let's say I choose the end position down here. You can see it's currently being selected to be driven. If I go back and change it to me driving it by clicking on this top bubble, I can then control the area. Notice I can't change position. I think that makes sense. So here, I'm going to change this to 275. You can see it actually gets a little bit bigger down there to control that. I'll choose OK, and there we have our area loft. Now, if I didn't have that sort of control, that sort of command set to do this, I would have had to create multiple work planes at different areas along this. I would have to make sure the area would fit the way I needed it to. So there's a lot of extra work that I would have had to have gone into this in order to get it the same way you see it now.